How's it going, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Hall of Film podcast. And if you don't already know what the Hall of Film is, it is a community-voted Hall of Fame where we vote and induct actors, actresses, directors and films. And the podcast is going to be getting guests on who choose the film or people to talk about, and we do just a deep dive and a discussion about the people or film. And I am honoured today that the first guest of the episode is none other than herself, the question queen, Heather Stewart. Heather, thank you so much for being the first guest on the podcast. And tell us a little bit about yourself and the film that you've chosen to talk about.
Right. Well, first of all, I did not give myself this nickname, please. It's not an ego trip or anything. I think Andrew Collins from the Revisionist Almanac came up with it because I just provide lots and lots of questions every month to his show, and at the beginning I was pretty much the only person doing it.
It's a well-earned nickname.
Yeah, so and then Tom and Dana Duncan have picked it up on the G-Mode podcast. So I don't know.
You're just known as the question queen now.
I don't
that's
know.
It.
Whatever. Yeah. It's not something I gave myself. So please, no. There's no ego here. Hi. So thank you for having me.
No problem.
I'm very honoured to be the first guest, and also to talk about this particular film.
Quite unknown film.
Really, I'm so surprised it got voted in the first round of the Hall of Film. Absolute shocker. So a little bit about me. I am as you can probably tell, I am originally from Scotland. I am living in Germany. I've been here for many years. But still very British. Take the girl out of Britain, but can't take Britain out of the girl. But so that's me, and I've just loved films forever. Really, I think the first time I went to the cinema I'm really going to age myself, was to see The Fox and the Hound, which was early 80s, and. Yeah, it was always something that there's always something on television. My mum loves old Hollywood, films. Okay. Yeah, so saw a lot. She loved Jimmy Stewart. That's her favorite actor. So lots of his films were on, and just growing up. So yeah, and then just that continued into the 90s, where there was nothing really else to do at that age and go to the cinema. So I saw a lot of stuff in the 90s, really bad stuff and
great
good stuff
period,
as well.
Great period.
Right period, because we are talking about a film from that period today.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I always kind of categorize my my likes and dislikes as I love a film with lots of people talking in rooms or in prisons,
same thing
maybe
for me,
we'll have today.
12 Angry Men is one of my favourite films, and that's just in a room, and it's magnificent.
It is the blueprint, talking in rooms. Yes. Yeah, in fact, one room.
And if somebody who's listening or watching hasn't seen that, what the hell are you doing?
Please,
go and watch
why?
that. Yeah,
what is wrong with you? Go and
treat
see
yourself.
It. Yeah, absolutely. So people talking in rooms, drama, thrillers, and I'd say kind of ambiguous characters as well. So
Nolan films.
Nolan films as well. You brought it up. Yeah. Yes, correct. So my favorite directors are Christopher Nolan, David Fincher, Martin Scorsese, Billy Wilder. So,
all great choices.
All great choices. Hitchcock. Absolutely. So, that's a little bit about me. And today we are going to be talking. It's like this is your life or something now. Today we're going to be talking about The Shawshank Redemption, which is my favorite film of all time, and it's somehow number one at IMDb. Honestly, how did this happen?
Yep.
No joke. I think you can say what you like about the IMDb list, about the recency bias, lots of superhero films, etc. But I don't really think anybody's going to get the knickers in a twist about Shawshank being number one. It may not be your favorite film.
Yes.
You may think it's overrated, but it's not something where somebody's going to be, why on earth is that? How is that number one? I don't think there's going to be any
Well, it's
really,
like
really
I think
questioning
if you combine like where it places on IMDb, Letterboxd, and
exactly.
Rotten Tomatoes, it's like top 5 consensus
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
which is
exactly.
yeah. But tell us, why did you choose to talk about this film, and when was the first time you ever watched it?
Whew. Okay, so I was not one of the 12 people that saw it at the cinema when it first came out. I I did miss it. I and I don't know when. I actually can't tell you when I first saw it. And
Okay.
I'm gonna actually say it probably was fairly soon after release, but it was definitely on television. I actually don't think I got the video out, aging myself again, got the video out. I think it was a question of seeing it on television, and probably I was just thrown into the middle of it, which is the way everybody sees Shawshank.
Yeah.
Went to see Shawshank with a friend of mine in the big screen, like just a few for its anniversary. It was showing in some of the cinemas where I live. And I went with a friend, and she was like, "Oh my God, I don't think I've ever seen the beginning." And I was
Oh
like, "You
wow.
see? Yeah,
Oh wow.
well,
Okay.
yeah, because it was just showing on TV all the time, and you were
Yeah.
just thrown into the middle of it."
I did see that Ted Turner got the rights to show the film and showed it non-stop on TNT, and that
yeah,
was
yeah,
a huge deal of why that kind
that's
of started getting the money back. Because the fact this film flopped is
is
hilarious.
insane.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. I remember the first time I watched it. It wasn't even that long ago. I watched it for the first time with my mom, who's not really into like films like this, but we both loved it. And then I watched it for the second time yesterday in prep for this, and it hit even harder somehow. It's just magnificent.
It was an amazing film.
Yeah,
And I mean, I remember all the because I was already following the Oscars at that time and watching them live, and I had to make notes and put them under my mum and dad's door to say, "This is who won," and then go back to bed. But I remember like we were just all caught up in the Forrest Gump of it all, and
yeah,
you know, older than you, so of course I know what it was like. Like everybody went to see Forrest Gump. It's what you
yeah.
did. But then you had the kind of the cool people who had seen Pulp Fiction, and then
Yes, yes.
I also remember that distinctly that I saw Quiz Show, which was also
Okay.
nominated in the cinemas. I remember seeing Quiz Show. And yeah, I think I was already caught up in the whole Ray Fiennes of it all.
Yeah, that's fair.
With Schindler's
That's fair.
last year,
Yeah.
and the year before, and then went to see Quiz Show, and knowing it was directed by Robert Redford, and it's just very number of things that were definitely that interest me. So I went to see that,
Yeah.
and I know that I saw Four Weddings that was also
Okay.
nominated,
Yeah.
also about 6 times at the cinema, because that's what you did. And I saw Forrest Gump, and I think I saw Pulp Fiction. So the only one that I didn't see of that 5 in the cinemas at the time was Shawshank Redemption,
Which
but
is funny because it's your
yeah,
favourite film ever.
it's my favorite film of all time.
Yeah.
Although I do think that's actually a great lineup. Like I have no issues with Forrest
It was a strong,
Gump.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think, and I've said this before, I think Forrest Gump suffers because it won. Because
Yes.
everybody looks at it and says, "Oh, it beat Pulp Fiction and it beat The Shawshank Redemption." And they forget about how important at the time
Yes,
box
yes.
office and just general, popularity was in influencing perhaps the Academy, or just what people were seeing and were paying attention to.
Yes,
And of course,
yeah.
Tom Hanks is so popular, and it's always going to be. It's
had
going to be out there. People are going to see
It had
it.
all the recipes for the Academy to go, well, I love this. You had Tom Hanks. You had
Yeah.
the story itself is very much where you could go, oh yeah, I can see the Academy just like going,
Yeah.
this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. So
Also,
it wasn't a
don't
surprise that it won.
Yeah. Also, don't underestimate what they were doing with all this like really dodgy, weird CGI. We look at it
Yes.
now, and then
Yeah.
the kind of the weird like archive footage. We look at it now and we're thinking, "Oh God, that looks crap," but at the time,
Ahead of its time.
1994,
Yeah.
it really was. So I think all of that, and it was just a massive thing. It's like, not quite on the level with Titanic, which really everybody went to
Yes,
see, but it
yeah.
really was an absolute phenomenon. So it's not a surprise. Everybody knew it was going to win,
Yeah.
and as I say, so it suffers because of that. People don't think it's aged well, and of course of what it beat, mainly these two, and I would say probably more timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the top Forrest Gump,
Yeah.
is it? But, they've aged better, probably.
They've
Pulp
aged well,
Fiction and Shawshank, and I think Shawshank might have had a similar fate, because I think if it had won, you would have had the Pulp Fiction people still saying, you know,
Pulp Fiction.
Oh my goodness! Also, who saw this film?
Pulp Fiction's the only thing that comes out unscathed from that lineup. I feel, where it's like it was good then and it's good now. Like it's
I think if it had won, it would have been the Academy being very, very cool and far too cool for 1994. But exactly. I don't think that would have been so bad, and it certainly wouldn't have aged badly. But I don't think Shawshank winning would have aged badly at all. I mean, you look at other similar situations if you look at 1980, Ordinary People against Raging Bull, and then of course you've got like a lot of big blockbusters that didn't even get nominated. But it is, the smaller film, or the one that's not quite so indelible, perhaps, won in that case. And Raging Bull should have won, but they're wrong. So I am actually, in a way, I am kind of pleased that it didn't win. It could have won something. We'll come to this.
Yeah.
But and anyway, so that's the reason. And the point is, I've never actually spoken really at length about this film on any podcast or anything.
That's amazed me. Yeah. I'm honoured that I'm the first one where you can talk about it. I mean, we've just kind of part discussed, but what do you think that's allowed Shawshank to stand the test of time, and why people still resonate with it so much today?
I think it is mainly the themes, isn't it, really? They're timeless themes. So you've got hope, you've got friendship, you've got resilience, you've got kind of also deeper themes such as, trying to fit in, adapting, Red talks about institutionalization, but also, just adapting to basically survive, surviving versus thriving versus loneliness, it's a big topic as well. And then we see that actually the people who are free in a way. Yeah. Are lonelier. So when Brooks, when he leaves, he's lonelier and wants to go back to his friends, and then that's very tragic. So so loneliness as well, freedom, connection. I think everybody can relate to this, and this is why, despite it being male prisoners in the 1950s in the US, I can still absolutely relate to these characters and to the story, and why I think it's number one on IMDb for a reason.
I think
what about you?
Nailed it. Yeah, I totally agree. It's the themes. I think no matter what time, how many decades removed we're from the film, everyone will still be able to resonate with every single thing about that film. I think the direction as well is incredible, and the acting is just second to none. Everybody delivers on the role, and everybody brings what they should have, and the little changes from the book to the screen as well, everything was worthy. Of course, like Brooks being way more involved in the film than he is the book. And Tommy actually dying in the film but not in the book, again, just for that extra emotional hit. It was an incredible, it's just everything about that film is perfect. I really do think that.
I think also, humanity, as we look at the times that we're in at the moment.
Yes.
Not going to go anywhere near politics, let's just absolutely not. But I think the world has forgotten a lot about humanity over the last 5-10 years. I think you can definitely pinpoint the COVID thing. Yeah, yes, exactly. I was going to say, I didn't necessarily want to age it back to COVID, but I think you're right. I think that's when a lot of people really lost a sense of humanity or just got more selfish. And I think something like Shawshank, where you've got murderers there, they are more humane than the guards. Although some of the guards do have their moments of humanity, but then of course it all goes wrong when it's kind of taken advantage of, for want of a better word. But and also what you were saying about the everybody being on top of the game. I mean, this is the first Academy Award nomination for the legends Roger Deakins and Thomas Newman. who now Deakins has got two, but Newman's still without one. And this was kind of their first nominations. And now look at them. They're like so established, like with, heading for 20 nominations apiece. And this is their, cinematography and score for anybody who doesn't know who we're talking about, these legends. But, not everybody's into the crafts as much as we might be as well. But it's just incredible to look at. And even then, I mean, that score is so indelible. And some of the shots that Deakins has got, I think we'll talk about scenes as well.
One scene for me is when Warden Norton pulls the poster and you get that fantastic zoom out from his face.
Yeah, that's a classic.
It's incredible.
That's
I think
amazing.
as well, the one theme that really stands out for me, and it's kind of a standalone thing, it actually remembers that prison's meant to be for reform and not just to throw people away. And it actually goes, these people, some are murderers, some are even worse. But they're still people and they can actually be redeemed. Some of them can. And again, I think people forget that both in real life and when they're doing prison films, where it's just 100% evil for everyone.
Yes. I think I'm always shocked when you see moments of some complete asshole like Hadley having a moment of, he's an awful, awful person.
Yes.
Clearly. I'm an absolute power hungry, awful person. I mean, he's the one that shoots Tommy, and I know he's just an order, but that's not the point. Or when he just goes completely ballistic on people and beats fat ass at the beginning and all this kind of thing. But also, and I know it's because Andy's helping him, so it's but he still gets box off his back, doesn't he? And not that I'm saying that's a good thing either, beating him to also within an inch of his life and making him permanently in a wheelchair. But that guy is proper evil. He's He's just awful, and it makes Andy's life absolute hell. Of course, he still gets stuck in the hole later by, putting the hole by the warden. But there's those moments where you think, well, that's kind of justice in a way. It's very ambiguous.
Question I really want to ask you, because I was thinking about it when I watched it, is Warden Norton one of the most evil characters in film?
Absolutely. You need to go and listen to I was on the never-ending watch list, and one of the questions was, who is your kind of, favourite or biggest movie villain? And I said, well, you've got a lot of these classic villains that are considered like more antagonists, or I would. I don't think they've got some
redeeming quality.
I was going to say redeeming qualities, and I was then wondering if that's what I meant. But
they're not. There's some inch of humanity there.
Yes, thank you. That's exactly, I think, what I meant. And you can at least have empathy with them as well.
Yes.
And so if I understand where they're coming from. Norton. He just, there's nothing there.
No.
And it's the front as well that he puts up. With all his sleazy deals and pretending he's friends with them.
That first scene is incredible.
You know exactly the kind of person he is.
Yeah, because I've written down the quote when he said, I believe in two things, discipline and the Bible. Here you'll receive both. Put your trust in the Lord. Your ass belongs to me. Welcome to Shawshank.
Welcome to Shawshank.
And
Line of the movie.
You're like, oh my God. Yeah.
One of my favourites. Yeah, this is it. And of course, again, I don't want to get into a political or religious discussion here, but you do have your religious fanatics who think because they are God-fearing men or women, it gives them a right to do certain things, or they can go and ask for forgiveness.
At the end of when they're coming for him and he's considering his options and he reads the crochet quote that he's got on the wall, and it's like he just knows then what he's going to do, and it's just I think you hit the nail on the head with that. I mean,
so anyway, yes, I do consider him one of the to reply to your question. Yes. Absolutely.
I mean, one question that it's kind of impossible to answer without going on for 3 hours. How do you think it's influenced the industry with both filmmakers and actors?
That is, So, I mean, I think if you look at the careers of the people involved, like Deakins and Newman, I mean, what they've gone on to do, of course.
They become like the standard of their arts.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, Newman he's not won an Oscar, but he's up there with your Zimmers and your Williams and all this.
Yeah.
And Deakins is just, I mean, he's the
incredible,
GOAT, isn't he?
Incredible.
And I think he's just established as that. But I think, I mean, Robbins set him off in his career. Obviously, Freeman had done quite a number of things. The absolute classic of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is where I knew him from.
Yeah.
Another favourite film of mine, absolutely unironically. Absolutely love that film. And he was in that. So I knew him from that. I was like, oh, it's the guy from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I think this... Is this the first one he did narration on? Voiceover?
It might have been. It might have been, yeah.
Because now he's your standard... Oh, I remember, again, I'm going to age myself, when Facebook groups were a thing, and you would join all these really weird random groups and people would try and be creative and funny and quirky. I remember one of the very first ones I joined was called I Want Morgan Freeman to Narrate My Life Story. And,
I think everybody does.
Everybody joined that one. I think it was one of the most popular ones.
Yeah, that's the person everybody names. Yeah,
he's just so good.
Yes.
And I think he means something to so many different generations. I think my generation probably knows him from Shawshank, from Robin Hood, even if they don't want to admit it. But going younger, of course, most people won't probably know him as Lucius Fox, I'm thinking, maybe?
Yeah. Well, a lot for me
Nolan
as well.
Butler?
I always remember him as God in Bruce.
Oh, well, okay, fine. Yeah, that too. I mean, look, the guy has played God.
A lot of times, yeah.
And the president.
Yes.
And Nelson Mandela.
And everybody loves him in those roles.
Everybody loves him. Yeah. There was a recent on the GMO podcast, Greatest Movie of All Time. They were talking about Seven, and they kind of were, discussing problematic people. And of course, Spacey came up.
Yeah.
But fairly enough, they also mentioned that Pitt obviously is not without... anyway, I'm not going to go on a Brad Pitt tangent because that would really that does annoy me that he is. He seems to have come away with it unscathed when there are some horrible headlines. But Morgan Freeman was also kind of caught up in the Me Too, and he's also kind of got a pass, I think. But I do wonder, and it doesn't excuse anything, but he is a kind of a different generation. And I think maybe, I don't know, I'm not excusing anything, but nothing's really stuck, and it's more kind of, it may just have been like, maybe giving somebody a little hug when they didn't ask for one. I don't know. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to justify anything. Absolutely not. But what I mean is that he does seem to have definitely, he's like a legend, and nobody really kind of questions that. I mean, I think he's fabulous in everything. And
I was going to say, every time I see him in something, even if it's a bad movie, I always come away going, he was good. He
was good. He's always good.
He's always
Bucket List
good.
with Jack Nicholson. Great film. Yeah. Because of those two. Because of those two people. It's just a completely stupid film. But they're great because it's Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. Of course they're great.
Well, it's like even on press tours when it's him and Michael Caine falling asleep during interviews, and it's just brilliant.
He just also, though, exudes... Oh, did you see the one where they were in Graham Norton together? Oh, so funny. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Oh, did you see the thing in Graham Norton where he was narrating Graham Norton? He goes, there's a... I can't even do it, but everybody needs to go and Google. There's this little voiceover narration that he does on Graham Norton when he talks about Graham Norton. And they flash occasionally to Graham Norton's face, reacting to it. It's so... good, and it's perfect Morgan Freeman, deadpan delivery, and wonderful. No, he's just so good, and he's just got this presence about him. We're not talking about Tim Robbins at all, who's the lead, but or is he? But I mean, Morgan Freeman's just got this presence about him, and we've recently lost Robert Redford, and I'm just kind of thinking, oh God, this is going to be a this is going to be a hard day when he goes, and he's also late 80s, but he's just always looked the same for years. Has he ever changed?
I was going to say.
But in terms of the other part of your question, I think also this kind of, I'm not going to say it's transformed prison movies, But I think it's showing that. I don't think it has, because I think you've still got to what you were saying earlier, that, you know, prison movies are still pretty black and white a lot of the time. This, I think, so I wouldn't say it's necessarily influenced it in that sense, but I think it certainly opened the door to show also that you can have male friendships displayed on stream. And this is the ultimate love, you know, platonic love between two men, ultimately. And it opened that up, and nobody's questioning anything. And it's just beautiful, and showing, yes, men can talk about their feelings. They can, of course, they're in very close quarters and they're going to talk about everything all day, but it just shows that men can have that humanity. They can do good things for each other, even if they're supposedly murderers and awful people. But that connection is possible. And, you know, look at these two men with this, you know, beautiful love story, for want of a better word, bromance, whatever you want to call it nowadays. I think it's like the blueprint almost for that. I mean, okay, yes, we could talk about Redford and Newman as well, very similar, certainly in Butch Cassidy, but I think it is almost like the epitome of that. When you think about a beautiful friendship on screen, that's the first thing you think about.
I think the difference as well, like with the Redford and Newman, that's like your butch, manly, masculine friendship.
They're not talking feelings.
Where they don't talk about anything deep. It's just like, oh yeah, we're really good friends, and that's it. But they don't talk. Whereas Andy and Red, you can tell that's like they go to with everything about each other. They know each other inside and out, and they prove by the end of the film that they will literally go to like the ends of the earth for each other, and it's just beautiful. It really is. That scene, that hug at the end is the ultimate payoff.
And the fact that they didn't see, that's also genius, Deakins. The fact that they didn't show it up close.
Yes.
The fact that they just, you know, the camera pans away. You see Andy reacting to Red turning up on the beach and then getting off the boat, and then it just zooms away, and you just
almost think as well,
thinking about it.
I almost think as well with the zoom out. I don't know whether you've ever thought about it like this, but I kind of see it as like an ambiguous ending where it's kind of like, does it last? Does it work outside of prison? Do they get caught again? Do they just live happily ever after? Or, you know, because you don't kind of get an answer of any of that. You're just like, hey, they meet up again. That's it, you know.
Yeah, don't make me think it didn't last.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, when you're in close quarters and you've got nothing else but to be with each other, it works. But does it work? It's like Brooks.
Does it work in real life?
Yeah, it didn't work for Brooks, unfortunately. No. Yeah, and that scene is one of the most heartbreaking things I've watched. Still, I just get chills every single time I see it. As soon as you see that wood coming down as he's carving his name in,
yeah, I think. I love what they did with the character of Brooks and really kind of expanding it.
Yeah.
Because he also brings a certain gravitas to the film as well, because he's so eloquent. Oh my goodness. Like,
James Whitmore, the actor, is perfect. No one else could have played that role. Perfect.
Because even though he's been there for 50, 60 years and is completely institutionalized, he's still got this beautiful cadence of talking, and it's so like he could be a stage actor, you know, performing Shakespeare. But he's not. He's like this, like 80-year-old inmate.
Yeah.
In a prison in Maine.
As well, like, even though he's been there for so long, he's still got so much humanity and hope about him. Like, he still thinks, oh yeah, you know, there's good in all of us, and we're all going to get out, even though they all know not many of them probably will ever get out.
But does he? But he doesn't even really want to. Well, he doesn't. I think he'd want to get out if they could all come out together, and he could have his life on the outside with everybody.
Yeah, I think he liked the idea of freedom more than the reality of what it is.
Well, as I was saying earlier, like, it's a loneliness topic. He is lonelier outside by a long, long way.
Yeah, because he'd been in there for like 50 years, surrounded by what become like brothers and sons for him, and then nothing.
Right, and it's like Red said, like, he should have died in those prisons' walls. And, you know, inside he was somebody. He was, you know, leading the library. He was being there for, you know, he was like part of the furniture. And then outside he's
And that almost actually become his home, more so than probably his actual home as well.
Oh, I mean, 60 years. I mean, and he says himself, like everything that's changed in that time with, with the speed of life. I mean, it's unimaginable. And I
think
surprised,
as well, that's one thing as well about the film that's excellently done is the pacing itself and the when they choose to jump forward a couple years, and it just works perfectly with every scene. And like you see Andy's hair get a bit grayer, and it's the glasses. It's the little things. It's the little things they do.
Morgan Freeman looks exactly the same, of course, but that's realistic.
I was going to say he just looks the same. Yeah,
he still looks the same anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Why would they bother changing anything?
Exactly.
But Tim Robbins with his hair and then the glasses gradually, and they do a good job of that. And also, I don't even think you really question it. I mean, some people you don't think, well, is that really 20 years? I don't know, but hey, maybe they're using great moisturizer.
Yeah.
In prison.
And again, another question without getting into politics or anything is, how do you think it reflects or comments on the social attitudes and cultural norms of the time? And, how does it still hold up?
I'm not that old, Morgan, please.
No, but, and how does it still hold up today? I mean, we've already touched on that.
I think we've touched on that. It's like, because everything is so timeless, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we were just talking about it without going into politics. We were just talking about, the lack of humanity nowadays, or, people adapting to kind of fit in, or people just, the idea of institutionalized. I mean, we're not all in prison, but in a certain way you can, I don't know, maybe you get into a rut, right? I think what they're talking about with the institutionalized is almost like what we might say nowadays are just like getting into a rut. You're like, oh, whatever. And maybe you start, like, for example, in maybe if you're starting a new job or something, and at the beginning you're like, oh, this is great, I'm going to change this, I'm going to do this differently, I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this, oh, I'm going to change all these processes. But then you get held back in a way, and then you adapt, and you're like, you know what, and then you kind of lose that flair, or that kind of desire to change things or to make things better, and you just kind of think, oh, well, that's the way it is, or that's the way we've always done things. And I think that's kind of almost like a similar reflection. I think there's so many, as I say, even though it is men in the 1950s in a prison in the US, it's still so relatable, as I say, and I think that is it. What I mean, what else? Why is it? That's really it. I mean, the themes that keep coming up, and then people. I think we touched on this. I don't know whether while recording or before we hopped on air, but the timelessness of the classicness, and people saying, oh, well, Bechdel test and all this, it wouldn't, there's no women, and I'm like, but it is a male prison. In the 1950s, you're not going to have women working there.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not going to happen. And so you do have a few women. You have the woman in the bank, and you have the wife that gets murdered, and you have and you have the woman in the committee that actually finally lets Red go. But I mean, that's realistic. So I think they brought women in situations the woman, then the customer at the supermarket. But those, I'm sorry, I'm all for women representation and all this kind of thing. But let's be realistic here. This is when it was set, and this is a realistic, unfortunately, realistic depiction of what women were mainly doing in those times. In fact, I think it's great that one of them was in one of those committees, quite frankly. I think that is actually... Yay! That they didn't have to do that; they did that. But other than that, let's be real here. They were working in a bank teller, working, shopping as a housewife, perhaps, or whatever. And having an affair with the tennis coach. Okay, whatever.
Yes, yeah.
No, but yeah, as I say, so it does. I mean, if you're going to modernize the film and then bring, I mean, not that we should remake the Shawshank Redemption. No, but
no.
We're not doing that.
This isn't Gladiator 2. Yeah, we don't need it. No,
that wasn't even a remake. That was it. Yes, okay. So exactly. So back to what you were saying. What happens to Andy and Red? I don't care. We're not going to do a Shawshank number 2. We're just going to leave it because it's perfect.
I don't want a TV miniseries as they're old men like on the beach still.
Brooks, the backstory. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Thank God this come out in the 90s and not the 2000s or 10s.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. Can you imagine? They'd been that all... Yeah, and imagine if it had been a box office hit. Yeah, like, we need to follow Andy and Red's story, or we need to do a backstory on Tommy and how bad he is as a thief. And that might have been interesting, actually. I don't know. But maybe Tommy's backstory. I don't know. But, I mean, no, let's just leave it as it is, as perfect as it was and is. As I say, I think there's so many quotable bits from it. The hope monologue is a bit exaggerated, but the
get busy
the
living or get busy dying.
Yeah, that is so quoted, and it's almost like a cliche now. But you know, we tend to imagine what it was like back then. Probably it wasn't back then. I think this is a bit of a problem of the film as well, that there's certain phrases and sentences or just that everybody knows, and they might not even know where it comes from, but then they hear it and they're like, oh, that's such a cliche, and you're like, yeah, but maybe it came from there, right? So back then it wasn't, and again that just shows the impact and legacy of the film.
I think as well, when it comes to films like these that reflect social attitudes of the time and just incidents that were happening, I almost want the film to age bad, in the sense of you look at the world now and go, oh yeah, we're nothing like that anymore, like why would we want to watch that? Except unfortunately you watch it and you're like, yep, that happened last week. I read a headline last week that was the exact same thing that's just happened in Shawshank. And it sucks,
which is exactly what we're saying. What we were saying about the
I think
humanity,
that's why it's so beloved, because it's aged unfortunately perfect. Unfortunately,
I was also watching recently, but also for the first time. There's a lot of films like that. I was watching, and in fact, they've aged almost better.
Yes.
So they're better now than they were then. So I don't know if you've seen Network. Sorry, tangent here, everybody. But these are two people who like to talk, okay? So we're going on a tangent. But have you seen Network?
That is on my list next, because I've fallen in love with Sidney Lumet's films.
Yes. Oh, of course. Yeah. But
I am aware, because a certain Mr. Andrew Corns over at the Revisionist Almanac, when he did 76. And the things he was saying, I was like, that sounds familiar.
You should listen to his, so the guests that he had on then, Betsy and Trent from Never Seen It. They also did a deep dive on Network, on their pod, and they'd also just seen it for the first time, because that's the whole theme of their pod, is that they watched something they'd never seen before, and they were both came back going, oh my god, what did we just watch? And because back then in the 70s, right, it's a satire. People are like, oh, this is entirely ridiculous. I'm not going to say too much because you haven't seen it, but like the point is
somebody
that back
like
then it was a
that will
satire.
Never get into power.
Satire. What are they doing for ratings? This is so ridiculous. You watch it today and you're like, this could totally happen. This is what they do. Ratings. Taking people off the air because they don't like what they're saying. What happened last week?
It goes from a satire to a psychological thriller.
Back then, exactly. Back then it was a satire, and now it's like a horrible state of reality.
It's like even I've got the poster behind me, a taxi driver. That's kind of like the first incel, except we didn't have a word to describe what he becomes. Except now we unfortunately know a lot of Travises in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's not, I say funny in the British sense of funny as in, where we find humour and everything, but it is ironic is maybe the better word. I don't know. How these films back then were, yes, maybe they were making a statement, but they were never supposed to be, very over the top.
Yes.
But now it's kind of what we're, like you said, it's like what we're seeing on a daily basis with some kind of headline, and it's like, oh, what now?
Well, it's like I always maintain from last year, without going obviously into stuff, The Apprentice. I saw that as literally a psychological horror. That was a horror.
Totally.
That was not a biopic. That was a horror.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was. Yeah.
That was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say you enjoyed the film, but I just thought like the subtleties that
totally
Stan
great.
was doing there, and the gradual becoming what that person is now.
Yeah.
It's all there. It's all there. And the reasons for it all there without excusing anything. So what we were saying earlier about, villains, antagonists, how a lot of them you can kind of find empathy somewhere.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying I have any empathy with this man at all. But there are parts to it where you can say, well, okay, because this happened, because he was treated like this by his parents, he became this, but there's still always a chance to not be like that. You can always become a different person. And he chose not to, because he saw the power, and then just showing what he did to his, friend, and really turning the tables on him. And like you say, it's a psychological exploration of becoming, I don't want to say monster. But
monster feels fitting. It feels
right?
fitting. Yeah. I mean, we're already touching on it through the middle of this, but why do you think people voted it into the Hall of Film?
Because people have a good taste.
I agree. It's a short and simple answer. I really do think that.
It's like, well, yeah. I mean, it's obvious.
It's like when Jaws got in at New Hollywood. It was like, because that literally kicked off. It kicked off the blockbusters. Like, of course it did. Yeah,
of course it did.
It's a simple thing. Yeah.
We've both participated in the Cinema Legacy poll from the Greatest Movie of All Time podcast from Tom and Dana Duncan, and one of the things that they were asked, like, it says, it's not really the best and the greatest and all this kind of thing, but it's all of it. So like, it's taking all things into account, and I can sit there and say, we were talking off mic about Citizen Kane. Yes. And I can sit there and go, yes, I appreciate what it's doing. I appreciate the craft. This is my euphemism for when I say I don't really like a film. I say, I appreciate the craft. I see what they're doing. Yes.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing.
Yes. Find something to compliment. So I watch Citizen Kane, and it's like, I understand. I get it. Because of what it's doing, because of how, so neither of us, I'm really not that old, so neither of us can understand how it was at the time to see, it's like with The Wizard of Oz when it suddenly switches to colour. And oh my goodness, did you see the ridiculous thing on Twitter, like recently, where people are saying, oh, this is so badly shot and it's like so bad CGI. I'm like, guys, it's from 1939 and this is like moving from black and white to colour. And do you know how they did that? By the way, they painted everything in.
It's incredible.
So they could do that smooth scene from Dorothy leaving black and sepia more to the color. They had everything they had everything painted that color, so it looks like she's going to color anyway. So the whole Citizen Kane thing, and I thought, well, one of the things we were also asked to think about was, legacy is obvious for Citizen Kane, but I think also rewatchability. And I agree. I have now seen it. I've ticked it off. I'm like, yes, if you're asking me for greatest and most influential, sure, put it up there.
Yeah.
But that's not all that we were asked to consider for this poll. And I think that's really fair, and that's why something like a Shawshank is going to do, hopefully, I'm sure it will be revealed soon. They're doing the countdown at the moment. But, Shawshank is hopefully going to do well. And the reason that it also was, it was in the first lot of ones that got voted in, right? In your very first batch of this period, of course. Yeah. Don't think it was number one, but it still got voted in this batch.
I think it was top four. It was totally in. There was no ifs and or buts.
That probably Pulp Fiction, I guess, but it's because at some point some certain films are just undeniable, and you don't have to really say, oh, this is the best film because maybe it's not deep enough for you, maybe it's whatever. It's like it's just men talking in prisons, but you can't really deny the absolute legacy and the overall popularity of this film for a reason. And it's not like popular, like, I don't know, the Avengers is popular. Sorry, nothing nothing about the Avengers, fine, whatever. But it's a different kind of popularity.
Yeah.
And I think somebody felt you're going to find something in that film.
Yeah, I think it's in the same class as like a Godfather and a Godfather Part 2. It's undeniable. It's in the top for a reason. Everybody knows whether you like it or not. You can go, yeah, I suppose you'd have to put that up there, and it's just accepted for good, valid reasons.
And
Where
it's
then, yeah,
not
whereas as you
rewatchable.
say,
Yeah.
yeah, like as you said with Citizen Kane, it's like that's to me not as rewatchable or accessible, but a Casablanca is.
Okay, that's a blind spot. So I'm just going to admit this now. The thing is, I admitted it in a smaller Discord channel like this week. I was like going, is this a safe space? I've never seen Casablanca, so there we go. But I agree.
I hadn't watched it until fairly recently, and I was like, this is really good, and I can see myself watching it again. You know?
Yeah. It's like 12 Angry Men. Also hadn't seen that like until a couple of years ago. And it's one of these, oh, it can't be that good. Oh, no, it actually is. Whereas Citizen Kane was like, oh, it can't be that good. And it's like,
I watched 12 Angry Men for the first time like a year and a half ago, and I've seen it 3 times since.
So
it's rewatchable. So and Shawshank's the exact same thing. Every time I go,
same idea.
I find little things in it that I didn't before. I pay attention to background stuff, and it's just all these little changes that you notice on a rewatch.
You've only seen Shawshank twice, right? You're saying?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I would love to kind of hear your progress every time you watch it again, because I also discover different things occasionally, or I pay attention because I've seen this film. I don't know. It'll be the film I've seen most often. Whether from front to back, I don't know, because, you turn on the TV, it's on. Oh, we'll just watch it. But this time, I was paying a little bit more attention to the cinematography just because, why not?
Did the
Deacon's
same
master.
As well. Yeah.
Pay attention next time you watch to the difference between Brooks being released and Red being released.
Yeah.
When Brooks is released, the gates close behind him. You still see the gates. It's like he is being locked out and being locked out. He is being locked out and kept away from his friends. And then they turn away and they go back to, Shawshank, the guards. Don't even think about him. He's there with the bar still behind him. So he's still locked in a way. Red, they film it the other way. So he goes out, they close, you hear the gates close, and he is free. And you see the expanse of thing. And I'd never really noticed that difference. Obviously you notice the difference, but you don't really think about it. And I thought that is actually perfect for the way that the two characters see freedom.
Yeah.
So for Brooks, it's like he's being locked into freedom, and Red sees the opportunity. Sure, he talks about, maybe wanting to go back inside, but then he remembers his conversation and his promise to Andy, and he goes into. So it's just through the camera work of Deakins, the differences are shown. I just think that I love little things like that when you just notice that, and you've never really paid it. You've seen it, but you've never thought too much about it before.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, it's like as well,
Wonderful.
I think a key as well with this is just how impactful it's been even to pop culture still today. Like, as stupid as it sounds, like Family Guy did a parody of Shawshank, and it is brilliant how they did it. And it's like American Dad did one as well for 12 Angry Men. Again,
really?
It's like, I feel like even like younger people now who might not have even ever seen Shawshank, they'll know so much about it still. Whereas then there's some other
that's
films.
Where it came from.
Yeah. There's some other films like I think as we going back to Citizen Kane, I think that's kind of lost that now. Like, where if you say Rosebud to like somebody young, they'd be like, "The hell are you on about?" Whereas if you quote something like from Shawshank or something else, they'd actually go, "Oh yeah, I know that. I don't know where it's from, but I know it."
Yeah, absolutely. And there's just a few. I think what we were talking a little bit, some of the cinematography and everything. I think there's just a few scenes that people just know, because they're so in pop culture, like you said, like the classic, you mentioned it, where the warden looks into the hole
and it zooms out,
and then it zooms out. Yeah,
it's incredible.
Or I love the opera scene, of course, with all these men, these murderers, these awful, awful people being transfixed by this opera
Yeah.
You know, yes, we know we'd rather listen to Hank Williams, but you know, it's just beautiful. And the way that is shot, like, you know, with the drone shot like over it, and then you see the expanse and you see how big the prison actually is, and just
that ties in perfectly
there. And maybe it's a
my question was going to be, is there any scenes or quotes that stand out? So that was a perfect transition.
Wow. Yes. So I think that's the classic one is the opera scene, of course, and the one in the hall. I mean, I do think, though, very important, actually. I mean, there's so many important scenes to this, but one that is possibly the most important in terms of how it changes everything for Andy is the roof scene.
Yes.
With the, you know, where he's saying to Hadley, "Oh, I can save you that 35. You can keep that 35,000." Because that pretty much changes his, you know, entire
experience,
the possibilities
in the prison.
That he has experience. Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, that gets the wardens on his side. It leads to Boggs being, you know, sent to the infirmary.
It ends up making his life in the prison easier and actually livable.
And it means that he can create that entire new persona of Randall Stevens to be able to survive on the outside.
Yeah.
And I think as well, so the whole breakout and then explaining how he did it and everything at the end. Did you just forget this when you've seen the film so many times? We do not know that he is innocent until then. Until Tommy. Yeah. And we also don't know how he gets out until then, because I'd forgotten this, but because you're just so, you know, that he's randomly just carving his name in the wall, and then it cracks and he realizes that, oh, maybe I can. You don't see that. You just see him carving his name, and then it cuts away, and then he goes to see, and then he's obviously got the idea because he goes to Red and asks for the poster. But you don't know that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, you actually, first of all, you don't realize he's innocent. You're experiencing everything in real time.
Yeah.
With the guards, with the prisoners and everything. And I'd forgotten that.
With the use of the posters, obviously, it's been a stereotype, and it's true still to this day, that prisoners have posters up constantly of anything and everything, so you don't think twice when watching it. You don't think, oh, that's weird. Why's he got a poster? You're just like, yeah, okay. And it's like, it's a woman. It's like, okay, who's next? Okay, yeah, you know, and it swaps between who he uses, but you don't think twice at all about it.
No, you don't think twice about it, because they're watching a film. They go in, they're watching a film with Rita Hayworth. She is in that film.
Yeah.
And she just has that beautiful scene, you know, she tosses her beautiful hair. And it's obvious, like, they say, oh, I want Rita Hayworth. And then Morgan Freeman is like, well, I don't have her down my pants, unfortunately. And, you know, it fits. You don't question it. But I think because, obviously, you know, I know the film so well.
Yeah.
But it is really, I'd never really thought about it. You know, you don't know. I mean, you know, because you know the story, but when you're watching it for the very first time and you're going in completely blind, you genuinely don't know he's innocent, because he could be. The setup is entirely as if he did it.
Yeah, the funny thing with that as well, you mentioned in that, when I watched it the first time, it was a while ago now, so like I knew the scenes, I knew everything, not everything, but I'd forgotten some things, and I was watching it, I was like, hang on, was he innocent, or do we actually never find out? And then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about Tommy. That. Yeah, yeah. Yep. But also, you mentioning about the tar scene on the roof, I did actually watch the extras bit on the DVD I've got, and one of the actors, I forgot who it was, he was on about that scene, and they were using actual tar, but when it was cold, it weighed like 90 pounds. And
my God.
And the day they were filming, it was 100 degrees and 100% humidity. He said, so when they give us that beer, we wasn't acting, we were all like, oh my God, thank God for that. Like,
that is a small nitpick, though, that I do have with that, because he does say it's 10 a.m. and they're drinking beer.
Yeah.
That does not look like 10 a.m. It looks like a sunset. Sorry, but that's just me just being like, wait a minute, that looks like a sunset, because the sun seems really low, and it looks like...
It's more dusk than dawn, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It is, right? And the voiceover is like, it's 10 a.m. and we're all sitting here drinking beer. I'm like, that sun feels a bit low, and it feels a bit, you know, orangey colour to be 10 a.m. But whatever, we're not going to, you know, nitpick that. But that just is one thing I think that I always think about with the film. But I'm like, well, how did they miss that? You know, like the film was perfect. How did they miss something like that? So
it's the little things like that where you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Whatever. Whatever. Or like, or the classic one is, how did the poster stay down, you know, when he's going out every night and whatever.
People like to really nitpick on things that everybody else likes. Yeah, we don't care.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, again, a kind of hard question, or maybe it's an easy one, but has Shawshank influenced or impacted your life or work at any point through the journey of watching it?
Not really. I mean, it's just my favourite film, right?
Yeah,
so it is something I will quote at people.
Has it ever impacted your like viewing of other films, or like when you go to a prison film, do you go in with any like ulterior way of thinking or anything?
No, I try not to, because I think you have to go into films with an open mind, and try not to compare. So if I'm going to compare anything to Shawshank, I'm just going to be like, it's not as good as Shawshank. So it's like it's a bit unfair to any film. I think the closest possibly where I've got to comparing is maybe the wrong word, but like where there's the similarities, or you want to find similarities but there aren't actually any really. Well, actually, you probably could find some, is The Green Mile, simply because it's the same director, the same author of the original, the source material.
Yes.
And obviously set in a prison. So, I mean, maybe that you try and compare that one. And again, the humanity is coming from the big murderer, supposedly, except he's not. Sorry, twist, everyone. Oh, goodness, for a film that's like 25 years old.
I was going to say, that's a 26-year-old spoiler.
Exactly. It's like 99, right? Yeah.
It's
like,
that was the year I was born.
Oops.
So. my year of birth, awful for music, great year for films. The year I was born. Yeah.
There you go. The year I was born was not so great. I'm doing a deep dive on that actually next year with the Revisionist Almanac, and it's not a great year, but hey,
mine's not for music, it is for films, thank God.
There you go. I don't know about music. I'd have to see or whatever, but I don't know about music from then. But it's not the best picture winner, shall we say?
Yeah.
But will be revealed soon.
One of the two questions that we got sent in, the first one was from Jylin, and it's quite a deep question, I feel. It's why is hope dangerous? Why is it so dangerous?
Yeah, I love that. Well, I am always glass half empty person.
Yeah.
So I'm more on Red's disillusioned side, and Andy's just far too hopeful for me.
Yeah.
I actually agree with Red, because I don't want to be, but I'm not pessimistic. I'm realistic.
I was just about to say the exact same thing.
It's not pessimistic. I wouldn't ever say I'm pessimistic, but I think I'm realistic.
Yeah,
it's realistic.
I've got the ability to stand back, look at the whole picture, and realise the situation. Exactly.
And I think he is right in a way, because while it is good, to hope and hope for the best, you're just going to be disappointed. Whereas if it's like the reverse psychology,
yes.
we're both into football, right? Do you do predictions? Do you do predictions?
Yes, I do.
Kind of competition, right? What do you predict? You're Liverpool, right?
Liverpool? Yeah.
Yes. So would you kind of say, oh, you know what? I'm going to predict Liverpool to lose this, because if they lose, then I get points in the prediction game. And if they win, I'm going to be happy. So win-win. So that's my kind of take on it. Sorry, this is my cup that I've got here. Newcastle. Same, right? I'm like, if they win, I'm happy. And so it's this whole like realistic kind of thinking, well, if I hope too much, then I'm just going to be disappointed. So if I don't hope, then I might be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole, and if you do kind of get too hopeful, and you will ultimately might be disappointed. I mean, the bit about driving a man insane, like he says, maybe not so much, but I do think I think it's just part of his institutionalization here, like in the prison. Yeah. He's been through, he's gone into his, parole hearings, and he said a couple of times, and he's seen his friends do it as well. They've gone in, they've said what they think they want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's not worked. And so he's complete disillusionment when he goes in thinking, you know what? They're going to say no anyway. Just stamp your, rejection stamp on the bit of paper. And that's when he does get released, is when he goes in there and he just says, you know what? I don't give a shit, whatever. And I think when he brings that whole, Yeah, it's kind of like ironic. It's like, oh, mate, you've totally understood what life is like. Actually, can be a pile of shit. And because you've understood that, now we're going to let you out because now you get it, you know, because he's brought that whole disillusionment and that whole realistic view of life to that parole hearing. And they're like, you know what? Actually, you're perfectly prepared for life outside because it is a shithole. And I think that's great. And I think that's why.
Yeah. I think one thing as well, again, at the weird way I kind of looked at the ending, and it ties in with the hope is dangerous. I almost feel like come the end of when he gets to the journey and he gets to Mexico and he sees Andy and they realise they've actually, you know, kind of got away with everything. I almost feel like you can almost look at Red and like he's turned into the guy who's now like how Andy was and being like overly hopeful because he's like, oh wow, we actually kind of did it, you know what I mean? And I feel
it's
like
come full circle.
It's come full circle, and now he's the one who's like overly pessimistic, going, "Oh wow, you know, like look what we've actually made it this time."
Yeah,
because I think he was so realistic because he was like, "That's not going to happen," and then when it does, he's like, "Oh my god,
it worked."
Yeah.
Well, I guess he was kind of like, well, you know, why not? And then he thinks about the promise, and that just shows, you know, the importance of that friendship to him, that beats any kind of disillusionment that he has or anything about not fitting in. And he's like, you know what? I mean, he's probably like, what is the character supposed to be by that point? Like 60? Yeah. So he's probably like, you know, so what? Right, let's just try it. I think
as soon as he finds that rock and the postcard, that's when it changes because he's like, oh wow, it's actually happened.
What? Yeah, okay. But the fact he still actually tries to go there, because if he wasn't at least, he must have had some kind of hope that he would find it, because otherwise, why is he making that trek out?
Yeah.
To that wall and to find that place. And I know he says this because he made Andy a promise. But if he's that disillusioned, just generally, he's not going to do it. He's probably, I mean, you think for a moment that he might go the same way as Brooks. And of course, that's clearly what's implied. But he doesn't, and then he goes out to get his bus ticket, and he's like, oh, nobody cares anyway. But his saying nobody cares about an old, you know, criminal like me is obviously takes a completely different meaning to how Brooks has meant it, because he's like, well, nobody cares about me, so I'm just going to kill myself, and nobody will notice I've gone. Whereas he's like, well, nobody will notice that I've gone to Mexico, you know, and I've broken my parole. It's a long way that he's got to go, so I'm surprised that nobody checked in him. But I mean, in a bus as well.
Benefit of the time. Benefit of the time.
I guess. Yeah. You know, can you imagine? That would
nowadays.
That would not happen today.
He would have got out of town, and that would have been that immediately. So.
Yeah. Well, he would probably have had some clip on his leg or something to track him. But no, it's fine. But I think that does show the influence. I think you're right. I think that's Red's arc. So people who say, oh, they don't really have massive arcs and there's no, you know, character development that much, I think that ending and the fact that the very last words of the film are I hope is, you know, you juxtapose with what he was saying in that dinner scene.
I think Red doesn't have an arc. He's just got a circle, and it comes full circle at the end of it. Yeah.
Because probably when he went into prison, he was, I mean, he says himself, he was like, it's the young, stupid boy, you know, and probably back then he did have hopes. I mean, if you think about Red, he's also, we're talking about Brooks, but also Red is very eloquent, and he's clearly, you know, I mean, all of them kind of are. This is the weird thing, but whatever, we don't care. He's very eloquent, and he's, you know, able to explain complex things to Tommy or discuss with Andy, and kind of, you know, when Andy's explaining the whole scheme to him, he understands because he's asking questions. He says, well, what about the IRS and what about this? So he clearly, you know, is educated in some shape or form. So
they're all educated apart from Haywood in the group, and then like Tommy.
He's a comic relief in a way.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
You need that. You need some light relief, you know, with the dumb ass and everything. I do, you know. I think that's the nice thing about Shawshank. There are moments of light relief. You know, it is quite heavy, but there's certainly, you know, just what makes the whole film itself gives it the actual film that humanity. And of course, they're making jokes. It's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah. Before we get on to some other questions and then top fives, just like a little thing that I found out was that Frank Darabont actually got the rights in 1987 for the film, and it was only for $5,000. It took only around 8 weeks, so when he finally got around to writing it, to do the script. And quite famously, I think everybody knows who knows the story, that Stephen King never actually cashed the check in, and then he ended up sending it in back and was like, "Oh, save it for like a rainy day," which is
then
great.
Framed it, didn't he?
Yeah, he had it framed. Yeah. I also learned that like not his main novellas, but like his little ones, he used to actually give to film students to make films of. I think it was for $1, but he retained all the rights, but that he gave them the option to do that, and that's how Darabont and him got a working relationship.
And got the second film as well.
Yeah, exactly. And then the main thing that I think that I found out that just blew my mind was the alternative casting of both characters. That's right. We'll start off with Red, because this is actually, I could see them.
I can see it,
and
they're not bad.
It would be
They're
good.
better suggestions.
Because if you don't know, Red in the book is a middle-aged white Irish guy, and then obviously they changed it to Morgan Freeman, which whoever decided that, genius.
It's never not going to be better, is it?
Yeah. The options considered at the time were Clint Eastwood, which I love Clint, but that would have wouldn't have had the depth of emotion and anything else,
or the acting talent. Sorry.
Harrison Ford, which he felt a bit too young for that.
Yeah.
In my head, he's too young for that. Paul Newman, which I would never ever complain about Paul Newman being in anything.
Can never have too much Paul Newman in anything.
Exactly. Gene Hackman, which would have been that could have
worked.
Yeah, that could have worked for sure. Robert Redford, the late Robert Redford. That again, Redford, Hackman, Newman. I'm never going to complain about those being in films.
But okay. I mean, this is up against Newman and Redford, right?
Yeah, and then the other.
I mean, are they too pretty? Are they too pretty to be like this? This. I mean, not that criminals cannot be pretty men, but
for Red, I think a bit too pretty. Yeah.
Right.
And then the other person was Robert Duvall, who I think could have done a great job. Yeah,
that would have been great.
He could have done a great. Yeah,
he could have done a great job. But you know what? They didn't do it because it's Morgan Freeman, and now it is forever Morgan Freeman, and he was perfect.
And that ties in actually to a question I had: is this Morgan Freeman's best performance in the film?
Ooh. I mean, he's amazing in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
He's great in everything, but I think this just.
Yes.
Yeah, this I think might be because of what he has to bring and the complex narrative of it all. Not only that, he's got to narrate it and actually bring emotion into that as well. I think how much he has to do, it's probably the performance he delivers most on.
Yes, that's true. And it is also in terms of what you associate with them. And I know we were talking about, maybe younger people might think more of Lucius Fox, or God. Yeah. I think if you look at his other Oscar nominations or, very praised roles, I mean, he won for $1 Million Baby, which is just like, overdue, but he's genuinely absolutely incredible in that film.
He really is.
He really is. And I know there's a sense of, people are overdue, let's give them a best supporting actor or actress thing. So let's fingers crossed for Glenn Close this year with Knives Out, finally. So there is that sense there. I think that's the place to reward them. And he was nominated for lead for this, and Robbins wasn't nominated at all. And the thing is, he's never going to win that, is he? He's never going to win against Hanks. So going back, we were saying about the whole Forrest Gump of it all. He was never going to lose that. Even if it was back-to-back Oscars for Hanks, like he was always going to win. Yeah. And
this is prime Hanks Oscar darling time period.
This is just Hanks getting nominated for everything. It's very like Meryl Streep in the 70s and 80s, just nominating her for everything.
This was 94. A couple of years later, and 4 more years later, he had Saving Private Ryan and
Castaway.
Castaway. He was mopping it up. The fact, it's really actually quite unusual that he doesn't have the most wins, because it feels like the Academy would have gone, just give it Hanks.
So yes, I agree. But looking at his other nominations, what else would he have then won for? Because I think that if you look at like, a Glenn Close, I mean, if you look at all these people who've got multiple nominations and either no wins or just like one, even though they've got, look, what else would they have won for? So like this, I mean, Glenn Close, yes, I personally think she should have won for Dangerous Liaisons. But I mean, if you look at the other ones, like I can see why she lost or why the other one won. I get it. So, and I thought people just have that,
like
that they come up against.
There's like a Ray Fiennes who, how the hell doesn't it? Because he's got at least two where it's like he realistically could have got it. I mean,
I love Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes,
I love The Fugitive, and I love the fact Tommy Lee Jones is an Oscar.
We all do.
No,
but, yeah, we all do, but no, like it's fine, but no.
Like no, what are we doing here? Like what? And and he suffered again last year, Rafe. Because everybody thought he had one, so nobody's voting for him for Conclave. And I'm not saying he should have won for Conclave, but I mean, he was great, but like, I mean, Adrian Brody really was amazing. Yeah. But like, if he doesn't have one, so that can't be your reason not to vote for him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bad reason anyway.
Yeah.
But he doesn't actually have one, so it's all lies in the first place. And Adrian Brody, guess what? Does.
He's got one, yeah. And not only that, you then give him the right to give the longest acceptance speech ever, which, oh my God, that was pain. I was watching live streaming that. I was in so much pain watching that. It was awful.
Oh, was actor before actress? Because I know that they cut the live stream and actress off the screen.
Yeah.
So exactly. So it's all Adrian Brody's fault.
Yes, it is. It's all Forrest Gump's fault and Adrian Brody's fault.
Whose fault?
It's Forrest Gump's fault and it's Adrian Brody's fault.
Yes. Let's blame. Yes, exactly. Let's blame.
Anyway,
but yes, no, I would say it is Freeman's. I mean, he's always good, isn't he? And he always elevates everything he's in. I mean, he's even good as Bloomin' Mandela and that. But I think. No, I think it's got to be up there. And actually, why are we even? Of course, it is. I mean,
if it's not one, it's two or it's three.
Yeah,
at most, which should be.
And we're talking very high quality here.
Exactly.
So, and Robbins is different, by the way. I think Robbins is great in this, and I think he does exactly what he needs to be doing. And anybody saying, "Oh, he doesn't bring as much," feeling into it, that's the whole point, because they go on and on about how Andy is icy and he just tries to, separate everything from, he tries to keep himself separate, and that's his way of coping.
Not only that, we don't know he's innocent until a certain point, so they can't give it away. Hence why he's got to be a certain way.
Exactly. He's got to be that icy person that you see in court. Yes. And I think there's certain points of what they do say about Andy is he's got certain things that he does to try and get that kind of feeling of to feel something again with his beer for his for his mates, with the financial advice, kind of the feeling that he is doing what he is supposed to do. That's what he learned. That's what he's presumably got an education in. And what was the other one? Yeah, like getting the library and all that. That's just giving him. Like they say at one point with Tommy, they say, "Oh, he's got his library. Now he needs another project." That's what he needs to feel something, to feel like a human. They say that, and then Red says it right at the beginning with the rooftop scenes. Because some people might say he was doing it just to make friends or to carry favor with the guards. Me, I just think he did it to feel like a human again, and I think that's so true, and that's what Andy kind of needs, despite the cold side to him. That's his way of dealing with it.
Andy's film perspective, it's the journey to becoming human again, I feel.
Yeah.
And then the escapement, he feels like he's escaped from being this cold, icy person to being the human.
And he strips off, and then he becomes something that we've not seen from him before, stripping off. And it's that iconic picture of, we forgot to even say that amongst scenes. Good grief.
Yeah.
We mentioned the escape in general, but so that's what I meant when I said people say, "Oh, it's such a stereotype, ripping off your clothes and standing there in the rain." Did anybody do it before Shawshank?
No.
Because my husband said this. I was discussing with him. We were talking about, because it was on TV like here as well the other week, and of course we watched. And I was saying, people like maybe think this is a bit of a, it's a bit of a cliche. Like he escapes and he pulls his running down the river and pulling his shirt off and then standing there. Yeah. And he says, But is it though? He says, because this film was like, it's from 94, and it's maybe now it's such a cliche because we associate it. But
I don't think it can be a cliche if it's the one that started it.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm sure there's been other similar scenes, but the thing is it is so iconic and with this and related to this film and connected with this film. But I think that's for a reason. So I actually, that's a quite good point for my husband. Well done. Yeah. But I would say that Robbins.
Yes. Speaking of Robbins,
is his best performance Mystic River?
I've not seen it. I will admit,
that's one he won
the
Oscar for.
Okay.
Speaking
of
Robbins, we'll
watch
that, and then we'll. Yeah, I would throw Mystic River out there because he's and then he's also really good in The Player. Like he's also generally good. He's good in Bull Durham.
He's a great character actor. He really
he just gets dwarfed, I think, but often by his which is why it was nice that with Mystic River, where he plays a much very also similar to this, he's a much quieter character, and he's very much. He's outshone in a way by Sean Penn, who also won a lead actor. I think that's it's good to see somebody winning for a quiet role like that. Is all I'm going to say. Like he's just, I do appreciate that when that happens.
You don't get many nuanced wins.
Yes,
unless it's a favourable person from the Academy, and they go, "Oh yeah, give it him."
Yeah.
Speaking of Robbins and speaking of the word terrible, which has come up a couple times discussing things, the alternative casting for Andy Dufresne. So Tom Cruise was in talks, and he pulled out after a few good men because they watched that and they were like, "Oh yeah, he'd be a good Andy." I don't know why they thought that. Anyway, luckily he passed, so that's one thing I will give Tom Cruise credit for. Well done for passing up on that role, because that would have been I don't think that film would have been... That would have bombed and stayed a bomb, and that would have been that.
Well, would it though? Because you might have got the box office draw of the latest Tom Cruise film.
Yeah, but that was 94. Was he as powerful as he did become in the 2000s?
He'd had Top Gun. He did
have that, but I don't know whether it was like now where it's like he can be in a god-awful film and it's like 100 million box office guaranteed.
What are you saying about Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning? They're great. Stop it.
Go on my Letterboxd and read my reviews. There's one 4-star and the rest are not
I am
favourable.
such an apologist for those films. I'm sorry. I don't care.
I thought they were fine, and that's it. They were a film.
Exactly.
I watched them and
fun.
I moved on.
Come on,
yeah,
whatever.
Of course, they went for Tom Hanks, but he passed a star in Forrest Gump and then win the Oscar and win a lot more Oscars. So that was a good choice for him, and I feel a good choice for Shawshank though as well, because Tim Robbins was perfect for Andy. I really do believe that.
I think Hanks could have pulled it off though.
I worry that, because sometimes I feel Hanks can be too Hanks, and I feel like he would have been very Hanksy in this.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't know how. I can't. In my head, the relationship between him and Morgan Freeman doesn't work in my head for some reason. I can't see it in my head. We'll never know.
We'll never know.
This is, I think, my personal favourite. Almost got Andy, but it's just funny. Kevin Costner went for it, denied the role. They offered it him. He said no. To start in Waterworld. Which, great decision. So he could have starred in something that flopped, but instead he starred in one of the most infamous bombs of all time. Yeah.
But it would have united him and Morgan Freeman from Robin Hood.
Yeah.
It would have been great, continuing that massive success and on-screen chemistry.
Yeah, and Waterworld wouldn't have been made, so that would have been a good choice, actually, for, I think, the industry. And then at other points in development, Johnny Depp was considered, which...
Oh, God, no. Really?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, no.
Nicolas Cage was.
Oh, interesting.
Which...
I haven't picked up on that one.
Yeah, and Charlie Sheen was considered.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, I know. So, in terms of films with alternative casting that is dreadful, this is so 50-50, because the red casting, I can see a lot of great options there. Andy, no.
No.
Mm-mm. It's Tim Robbins or no one. Yeah.
No, yeah.
The idea of a younger Johnny Depp or Charlie Sheen doing that role.
How old was Johnny Depp at the time?
I mean, he looks young still now, so
That's true, actually.
Yeah, he would have looked 12 in that, I think. So it wouldn't have been It wouldn't have been good.
No. But I mean, I guess that was maybe kind of along the lines of we want to have a star.
Yeah.
But I think it works better because you don't. Because
films like
Tim
these
Robbins
need
can
character actors.
Yes,
I really do think that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because Tim Robbins just kind of melts into it. I mean, if you were to ask people like the name of the actor who plays, everybody's going to know Shawshank Redemption. Are they going to remember the name of the actor who plays Andy Dufresne?
Yeah.
But if it had been Tom Cruise, it just takes over the whole thing, and it's known as a Tom Cruise film, or it's known as a. I mean, we have coming out this week, one battle after another. Paul Thomas Anderson, not really been one that's been setting the box office on fire. Very much an auteur filmmaker, but he's got DiCaprio leading it. So it's getting so much buzz because it is the new Leonardo DiCaprio. But you cast somebody like that because you know that's what's going to happen, and it's heading for 50 million box office opening weekend, which is insane. For Paul Thomas Anderson, and it's just all this hype, and it's getting ridiculous. I'm going to see it tonight, and I'll be like, okay.
I am very happy for Paul because that's a man who deserves it.
I just hope it's deserving of it all, if that makes sense.
I will forever be gutted if he's known for that and not There Will Be Blood.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. But on the other hand, if it is genuinely a masterpiece as well, then that's fine if this is the one that gets them all the accolades, to be honest, because there's been so many examples. Yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, I do. I'll have to see. I've still got Sinners at number 1, so we'll see what happens tonight.
I do as well.
But and I think it's great. I don't get the impression that he really is, is like, oh, I need to have an Oscar. On the other hand, you don't. He's got to have some kind of say in the marketing, and obviously, Leonardo DiCaprio wants to work with big directors. It doesn't really matter about box office. But he said yesterday, in an interview, he said box office is important for this because it gets, like when we were talking about Forrest Gump, why it won everything, because it was the one that everybody saw, and at some point it is undeniable, which is what a lot of people are saying about Sinners. They said if Sinners had come out and not done so well, then it could have easily been ignored. But because it's just kind of everybody's seen it, it keeps it in the conversation. But I think it's great, and I hope it's a good one, and it's not. I mean, I was quite high in Phantom Thread. I enjoyed that one. I don't like The Master, I have to say. But okay, sorry everybody. But I think you know what you're doing when you're casting DiCaprio.
Yes, yeah.
And
just as long as he's not got to do an Irish accent, you're good.
Oh God, that film.
I love that film, and every time I see it, I'm like, it's like when you watch Bram Stoker's Dracula, which I love that film. I love that film. Oh. Keanu Reeves' English accent is
awful,
hilarious. It is fantastic,
but it's comically bad.
Yes, yeah. It's like he's gone for something, and I don't know what, but it works.
It's like House of Gucci. It's so funny. They're all doing various Italian accents while speaking English. Lady Gaga sounds half Russian. Clearly, what's his face? Jeremy Irons started doing the accent. At some point, thought, oh, for God's sake, I'm not doing this anymore, and goes back to his English. He's wonderful. Al Pacino, God knows, he's clearly he's just hamming it up as he usually does.
Al's having
wonderful.
Fun. Yeah, Al's being Al.
Jared Leto is, I have no words for what Jared Leto was doing in that film.
I've got no words for him in general, so...
my next podcast that I'm doing is Requiem for a Dream. So that is early Jared Leto.
That's when he decided I'm going to work and not be weird or creepy.
I'm going to be an actor.
Yes, not a what
was he in? He was some kind of teen series before that. I don't know. I don't know. I never watched it.
I don't have a clue. Yeah.
Anyway, so that would be a fun watch.
Another question that I'm interested on your point of view, but just looking at the filmography, other than The Green Mile, why didn't Frank Darabont reach the heights of those two? Again, because his last film he did was 2007, which is crazy.
I have no idea. I just don't.
Because you look at
did he go into television? So I'm really it's a bit of a blind spot. I don't know. Did he go into television?
It's quite interesting. He did go into television, and he was actually a producer, I think an executive producer on Walking Dead for the first season and the first half of the second season. But he got fired I don't know the reason. And then ever since that, it's kind of been patchy. But I just found it really interesting that in the lead up to like Shawshank, he did Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Fly 2. He did.
He didn't direct them, did he? He wrote them, I think.
Yeah, he did like some things where you're like, okay. Then he drops Shawshank and then The Green Mile. You're like, oh my god. And then he follows it up, and you're like, hang on, what happened to him?
Yeah, that's actually, I don't know. I have no idea. I probably should have like looked into and thought a little bit more about it. But
I don't know whether
he
just knows how to adapt to Stephen King's story, or
yeah, that's all he can do.
Yeah,
maybe they should have given him Life of Chuck or something.
He can do prison films. And
can do prison films. Yeah, exactly. He's got very niche, very niche. Yeah, he can do prison films written by Stephen King,
and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and
with sympathetic. Yes. With sympathetic inmates. There you go.
Very niche. The other question that we got actually ties into a top 5 that I asked you. Was Cinekyle asked, is this the best Stephen King adaptation, in your opinion?
Well, I have my little list here because, I was asked to prepare.
Then I asked you, what are your top 5 Stephen King adaptations?
Yes. I mean, go on.
One of the things that fascinates me, if I ever want a good laugh to myself, I look at Stephen King film adaptations, like just a list, and I'm like, how is it this bipolar of quality, where it's like one of the best films ever made, and then you're like, what the hell was that? I've never.
You've seen The Long Walk yet?
I haven't. I need to. I know. Yeah. I know the reviews on it. I'm just hoping.
I like it.
We're on and then Life of Chuck and
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Nah.
Yeah, I almost had a panic attack watching it, and
God.
Yeah, really? Yeah. It's not great. I thought it was fine.
I've heard very mixed. Like a lot of people are like, mediocre.
It starts really well and deep and anxiety inducing, and then it goes to just a formulaic, boring kind of film where you're like, okay, yeah, it works backwards.
Okay, yeah, fine. I was kind of, I had it on my watch list, especially after it won the audience award last year at TIFF, and I was like,
I don't think it should have.
I don't think it's my thing really. It seems a bit too. They
try to do a lot and don't do nothing.
Right. Okay. Well, I just say I might catch it if it's on Prime or something.
Tommy Dustin's great, but he always is. So
I have seen Tom Hiddleston in basically one thing, and that's The Night Manager.
Okay.
Because I haven't watched a single Marvel film, so
fair enough. But top 5 Stephen King adaptations.
Right. Yes.
Do you want me to do mine, and then I can let you? Then. Yeah. So mine quite simple, and I mean we might match up. I'm not sure. Shawshank Redemption, shock horror. I know. The Shining. Again. Oh wow, no one saw that coming. Carrie.
Carrie, I have, but 5.
Okay, yeah. Misery.
4.
And Stand By Me.
3. There you go. We've got the same 5.
Yeah. I was
just Carrie and Stand By Me are swapped.
Going into it, I was like, this could be the same because
keep it the same 5.
The top 5, those top 5 are incredible, and then the drop off is very.
There's a few that I haven't seen, but I do have an honourable mention for The Green Mile.
Okay,
that was my 6. I have recently seen The Long Walk, which I actually really enjoyed.
Okay.
So, but didn't quite
no
squeeze into the 5.
Cujo or Pet Sematary then. No.
Not seen Cujo and Pet Sematary. No.
Yeah, the top 5s I was expecting to match up on that.
All right, but prison movies I think you asked me about as well, right?
Top 5 prison movies. So mine, Shawshank.
Just quickly though.
Yeah.
How are you? Because I posed this in my the Discord channel that I'm in yesterday.
How am I defining a prison
How are
film?
you defining it? So is it how much of the film needs to be in the prison? Or does it all have to be in the prison? Or does it have to be over 50%? Or what's going on?
With my prison films, so I mean, I'd say 4 of them are definite like prison films,
right?
Mainly because they're either set or just an actual prison film. But I was kind of just looking at films that are classed as prison films, and I was like, what stands out to me as I'd say that's kind of a prison film. Whether it's a drama or not is another thing. But my
go ahead then.
My top 5, Shawshank, as we've been talking now. The Green Mile.
Hang on, I have that on my long list. Yeah,
I've got the Green Mile.
Not
on.
my 5.
I've got Cool Hand Luke.
Haven't seen that, so I haven't. Sorry.
In all fairness, neither have I.
I have it on my list, but I haven't seen it, so I can't.
Neither have I. It's on my list, and I was like, I know it's very hot.
Kind of classic.
Then I've got Bronson, which is probably out of nowhere pick. With Tom
Andrew
Hardy.
suggested that one. By the way, I think it was Andrew said it.
I very much enjoy.
No, not Dina. Tom.
I really enjoyed that film, and I recommend if people haven't watched it to watch it. Tom Hardy is excellent. And then this is my one where I was like, I saw it and I was like, do I? Because there was 2, and I was like, well, I can technically. It's my podcast, so I can do what I want. I'm going to include them both because it's a remake but alternative. So I've gone for Mean Machine / The Longest Yard.
Yes, well, I think The Longest Yard generally gets mentioned. Yep.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's your podcast. You can do what you like. You make the rules. You are right.
I did write down Mean Machine over The Longest Yard, though, because I very much enjoy that film. Vinnie Jones is weirdly good at acting for some reason. I don't know
so
why.
Bizarre how that happened.
Yeah.
What's he doing nowadays?
I know he had like a Discovery Plus show where he's on a farm. He owns a farm now, and he's just doing that. He's calmed down and he's just doing that. I was like, okay. He's wearing flat caps and like hunting jackets. I was like, okay, you do you, Vinny. Yeah. The image of the bad
middle class.
Yeah, he's gone middle class as hell. Yeah. And also you get Jason Statham as Mad Monk in goal, who's just kicking people, and it's brilliant. Wonderful. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Right. So that's your 5?
Yeah.
Right. I have number 1 is Shawshank.
Oh wow, okay. I didn't see that coming. Yeah.
Shocker. And then I have Papillon.
Okay. I've heard of it but not watched it.
I haven't seen it for ages, but it's one. I'm just like kind of thinking these are the ones that I was thinking of. Then I have, and I don't know if this really counts but it is set in a prison setting.
I'd say
it's just not an active prison, and it's The Rock. Sorry, I love The Rock. I unironically love The Rock. I don't care. Okay.
And for younger people listening, we're not on about Dwayne Johnson.
Oh no, I do not love Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, I do not like The Rock.
I do not like that Rock. But I do like the classic film, Michael Bay film, The Rock, starring Sean Connery and who else? Nicolas Cage and Ed Harris in a control room, because Ed Harris in the control room is the best kind of Ed Harris.
Yes.
So, and then I have just because I have certain people in films that define my entire personality. I have Empire of the Sun, because I have loved Christian Bale since Empire of the Sun.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then I was reminded of this one. In fact, actually, this possibly needs to be higher, but for recency bias, we're going to keep it at 5. And I'd completely forgotten about it when I made my list. And then Andrew says, he goes, Sing Sing. I went, oh my God, I forgot about Sing Sing.
I forgot about Sing Sing.
Yes. I'm
trying Chuck Cool Hand Luke out. I'm putting Sing Sing in.
Isn't that wonderful?
I'm still annoyed that should have won at the Oscars. That should have been Best Picture and Best Actor.
They totally blew that release. I am sorry. They had a winner on their hand. The reviews out of all the festivals was like, you need to push this one because it combines
and they didn't push
feel good prison stuff. And you know what we were talking about, influence of Shawshank. This is almost one where you could see an influence, because it's talking about like what you were talking about inmates actually having a what was the word you used? Oh God, I can't think of the word. It begins with R, but kind of to get back used to society, to kind of not recuperate. Oh good God, I'm having a blank. But anyway, and how to help them have some humanity and have a purpose in prison, Yeah. And so that always does go hand in hand in a way. There we go. We found the prison film that does go hand in hand with
I also
Shawshank.
think that Sing Sing, like Shawshank, in a couple of years will be one of those films where everyone's like, that is a masterpiece on what the hell happened with not only promoting the film, 100%. But also the Academy. What the hell were you doing?
They had a winner. And they've clearly seen it because they nominated Coleman, right?
Exactly.
So, but the fact that it should have been getting Best Supporting Actor, real supporting actor role.
I was just about to say, I forget his name, but oh my God.
Clarence Macklin.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, and he's not a proper actor. He was actually the inmate. It's his story, pretty much.
That was his first actual acting.
He wrote it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And the actual guy who Coleman's playing is also in the in the film, but a very small role. But I mean, that film is so good. And it was another one of these ones where oh God, everybody's raving. And then I was like, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. I didn't have it at number 1 last year because I just stayed true to Challengers because I just had so much fun with Challengers. Do I think Sing Sing is a better film? Probably.
I had Sing Sing number 1. I
had those two at 1 and 2. Yeah, Challengers, Sing Sing, and then A Real Pain. So those are my favourite. And none of them get nominated for Best Picture. So it's so odd that my favourite top 3 films of last year, neither of them got Best Picture, which is a bit odd for me.
But Amelia Perez did.
You know, okay. Hot take. I didn't think it was that bad.
I did not enjoy it at all. I really didn't.
I've watched worst films.
It's kind of one of those. I do agree where if it didn't get nominated, no one would care. But it's
just the fact that it almost. If you'd given it Selena Gomez, it would have broken the record.
It's got the joint most ever, and not only that, Zoe Saldana won an Oscar for that
another lead role. 4 lead performances won last year.
Yeah.
No,
not only that, it wasn't a good performance at all.
Well, I may disagree with you on that one, but we'll move on because we're being very, very, very harmonious here. No, I am not going to start an argument with anybody about the qualities of anything in Emilia Perez. So it's fine. I just think she should have been in lead, and it wouldn't even have happened. So
yeah, I agree.
But no, that was it's just. The fact there was 2 things it could have been nominated for, and it's just it could have also got Selena Gomez in because she got nominated in some places. That would have broken the record. Or if they had the 2 sound categories still,
I'm very happy they didn't. Whoever decided on that the last minute, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, normally I like having the sound categories. I always did like having them split because to me it's 2 different. Crafts.
I mean, as soon as Challengers didn't get nominated for Best Original Score, I didn't care. As soon as I saw it, I was like, okay.
Last year, seriously, quite frankly.
I knew what was going to happen, and I didn't.
Or editing. Like, okay. Where was the editing nomination? First Challengers.
There was a lot for that film that should have been nominated. I mean, Denis Villeneuve's dropping masterpiece blockbusters, and he's not. They're just like, okay, and it's like, oh, okay. You're not awarding that now.
It directed itself.
Yeah. Even though, I mean, I need everybody who's listening and watching, when the modern time period rolls around, please vote in Prisoners, because I want to talk about that film.
That's a great film.
I want to talk about that film so much. I love that film so much.
It's a great film. Yes.
That is one of the most incredible films I've watched, and it gets love, but not really at the same time. It's weird.
I did not recognise Melissa Leo at all.
Yes. I'm also confused why Hugh Jackman's never found that level of acting ever again, because
he's good in The Prestige.
He's good in The Prestige.
Oh, that was before.
He's psychotically good in that film. He's incredible. Yeah, that was like Daniel Day-Lewis embodied himself in Hugh Jackman somehow. I don't know how it happened, but yeah.
Yeah. He went to a different level on that. That was entirely. Like you say, why is he never, or is he just never got the roles again? I
mean, to be fair, his choice of films, I will say, he shoots himself in his own foot a lot of the times.
Right, following the money. Got a divorce to pay for.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, Great Showman, or now being a what is the newest film? It's he's a Neil Diamond tribute act, and it's a biopic.
Oh,
yes.
It that one with what's her face? Is it? Oh, thingy, Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. I think I was aware of a trailer for that coming out.
Speaking of biopics, I'm actually writing a blog about why I hate biopics and why they're terrible for Hollywood. So keep an eye out on the socials for when I post that.
I say that as well, but I think it depends. I hate music ones. I hate sports ones, but I think historical ones. So, like, I mean, I always got about how much I hate biopics, and somebody says to me, Heather, Oppenheimer, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, but that's
different. That's history.
Not only that, it's well researched and not lying to your face.
Yeah, and it's not like lip syncing Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, hey, that's a Best Actor winner. What are you on about?
Do not eat.
The person you don't start on that is Mr. Andrew Collins.
I know.
Yeah, I'm so excited for when he gets to that year, because it's going to be 4 hours of just him talking about Rami Malek. Yeah,
that is.
It's incredible.
Horrific.
Yeah.
But again, we're going back to what we were talking about with Shawshank. It's the box office. Bohemian Rhapsody was ridiculously successful for something that bad. But I guess it's the Queen thing. It's the name of Queen, and it's like, ooh. And of course, I mean, I'll give him one thing. He did do the mimicry very, very well. Like the whole Live Aid thing. I mean, that he did do that very, very well. And that was all the stuff that they were pre-releasing, and also showing him, in some of Freddie's iconic costumes and or at the piano, and the way they were shooting it. I mean, even I was sold. I was like, that actually, he looks incredible. Yeah. But then the film happened.
Then you watch the film.
But I think by then there'd also been a certain degree of buzz, and it's like, whoa, he's playing Freddie Mercury, and oh my god! But even the accent was all he was so put on,
it's the same
and the
thing
teeth, and it was like, what are we doing?
It's the same thing with Chalamet as Bob Dylan this year just gone with A Complete Unknown, which I didn't care for at all.
I have no relationship to Bob Dylan. I don't care.
And I went in and then I researched and then found a lot of inaccuracies. I was like, oh, okay, then. So I still don't know about Bob Dylan, but.
I am so apprehensive about the Springsteen one, because
Why is he getting a biopic?
I freaking love Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, they're focusing on an album that's not his best, to put it, in my opinion.
Most well known.
It's not well known, no.
Well,
but on the other hand, I mean, it's got Atlantic City. Everybody knows that one. But I don't know. But I think they're focusing on this kind of like depressive streak that he went through, relationship with his dad, with his manager. I don't know. I know that Springsteen is behind it. I know that he's supportive of it. Everybody loves Stephen Graham. I mean, Jeremy Iron White has also won 1 million awards. So, God, it's just going to get in there, isn't it? I mean, we can tell. It's like, oh, a music biopic. Beloved artist. Springsteen's going to campaign, which Dylan didn't do, so he's got that as well.
I mean, if this
Stephen Graham and what's his face, Jeremy Iron White.
If this gets Stephen Graham recognition and admiration from the Academy, finally, I'm not going to complain about that aspect.
He's just won an Emmy, and you saw how loved he was when he won that. Did you see literally like the whole audience? Swarming round him. Yeah. I mean, he is so loved. So I think if he gets in, he's got a good chance, just simply because people love the guy.
I agree.
But
do you have any other little factoids or questions about Shawshank, or have we covered all of that?
Do we want to discuss the lead co-lead?
We can finish on that. We can finish on that.
No, who cares? At the end of the day, who cares?
I mean, it's a co-lead.
It's a co-lead.
It's a co-lead. Yeah.
I mean, Andy is clearly the main lead.
Anybody who watches the film, it's a co-lead.
He narrates it. Yes, you start with Andy, but Red has enough scenes by himself.
Yeah.
At the end, it ends with him.
I was going to say, the last act.
Yeah, Andy's gone.
Andy's supporting or gone.
Well, he's gone.
Yeah, he's supporting and gone. Yeah.
Yeah, it is explaining Andy's story.
Yes.
As well, but it's all
who's
Red.
Talking?
And
it's Red.
He is the one with the arc.
Exactly.
So there we go.
Yes.
Discussion over. Now, if he'd gone in supporting Woody of one.
Yes.
But do we care? No. Lead. Fine. Sending the wrong message. He probably wouldn't have won anay. And if he did, everybody'd be like, he shouldn't have won because Samuel L. Jackson was right there. Just like, Ed Landau. Ed Landau. Mixing my Ed Woods and my Martin Landaus, yes. Like everybody's, like, oh, he shouldn't have won it because Samuel L. Jackson was right there. But there you go. That's your Pulp Fiction fans. I mean, whatever. I haven't seen Ed Wood, so I can't possibly comment. I think Samuel L. Jackson was incredible.
Yes.
Deservedly, but who cares?
Who cares about the Oscars at this point?
Who cares?
Yeah,
exactly.
No one cares. Right.
Nobody cares, because the fact that Shawshank didn't win anything just proves they're all rubbish.
Exactly. Well said. Well said.
And on that note.
Yes. But before we end, Heather, do you have any plugs of upcoming guest spots or anything to tell us all about?
Right. Well, we've talked about it quite a bit. So I have my next one coming up is with the Greatest Movie of All Time podcast with Tom and Dana Duncan. We'll be covering Requiem for a Dream. Fun. Really light fare there.
Yes.
That's, I think it's due out at the end of October. We're recording in 3 weeks, I think, due at the end of October. I'm not sure when this is coming out. Then I've got I think you're also going in Clarissa's podcast.
Yes.
I've seen that one. I've got what have you got? I've got Heather's.
We did the Imitation Game.
Oh, you've done it already. Oh, cool,
Yes,
cool. So that'll be out soon.
That's out the first week of October.
Oh, fab. Excellent.
Yes.
I've got a number of ones with her. The first one we've got is Heather's, another favourite of mine. Heather talking about Heather's, and talking about Christian Slater and Winona Ryder, which is like, I'm so excited. And then I'm doing the first draft with the Revisionist Almanac. It's a new format that Andrew has where we get, 4 of us together and we draft Oscar winners from a certain decade, and then the audience gets to vote on who's got the best team.
Yeah, I'm very excited to.
I've got the 90s, so I'm going to be drafting Kevin Spacey and supporting actor, and I don't even care.
I'm hoping and praying for the 70s. I'd love that.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be a good one. Yeah. And then I've got I've recently was on the kind of the sort of the spin-off of Moving the Needle. They have a new format, Mash Flicks and Chill, where they combine like a couple of films to make another film. So we spoke about Bruce Springsteen. No, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid merging with Ocean's 11 to come up with The Sting. So that was a chance to really dive into The Sting. Redford Newman, we've spoken them a little bit today as well. And I just encourage everybody to also to have a check out the Gmode Cinema Legacy poll that both you and I participated in, voted for our top 50 films of all time, not favourite, but ones that we consider either the best or the most important or greatest, whatever you want to define that. And we're counting down the top 120, and I think
we're in the 90s.
We're 100s, So check that out. They're releasing a new. I think they're doing 10s every week, roughly, depending on ties. So that's interesting, and get involved there in the socials as well, because that's fun to see what people are choosing and how they've justified things. So
I agree. For me, as I said, I am on Clarissa's podcast. I've seen that one, The Imitation Game we talked about, and that comes out the first week of October. And then also, I believe we said yesterday on the 18th or 19th of October, me, Andrew, Sarah from Jen and Sarah as well, and Clarissa, we're all doing a Halloween themed one where we choose top five classical horror films, and we're doing that as like a draft. And
nice.
I'm looking forward to doing that.
That'll be fun. Draft is good. Get competitive.
I love classic horrors, so I'm looking forward to that. But that is it from me, and that is it from Heather. So make sure you share the podcast and support it, and I will be keeping everyone updated on my socials when this is coming out, and then future guests coming on as well. Thank you all so much for listening and watching, and we will all see you in the next one.